The words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. Stop acting like their real father, Jacob. You're just the wallet. Emily screamed across our kitchen, her face twisted with rage I'd never seen before. I stood there, frozen, holding the parent-teacher conference reminder for Kayla's upcoming meeting. 7 years. 7 years I'd raised those kids like my own. Kayla, 9, and Derek, 6. Changed diapers, walked them to their first day of school, sat up nights with fevers. My hands trembled as the paper fell to the floor. What did you just say? My voice came out barely above a whisper. She crossed her arms, her perfectly manicured nails drumming against her bicep. You heard me. You think paying bills makes you their daddy? Their real father hasn't called in 3 years, Emily. 3 years. The smell of burnt dinner filled the apartment, smoke detector chirping weakly in the background. Kayla appeared in the doorway, her brown eyes wide with fear. Daddy Jacob, why is Mommy yelling? That word. Daddy. It used to fill me with pride. Now it felt like a knife twisting. Emily laughed, cold and bitter. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You've got them so confused they don't even know. Don't, I said, my voice finally finding strength. Don't you dare finish that sentence in front of her. But the damage was done. I saw it in Kayla's face, the confusion blooming into hurt. That night, something inside me shattered beyond repair. I met Emily at my boy Miles's barbecue 5 years ago. She was sitting alone on the porch steps of his house on Maple Street, beautiful in that effortless way, wrestling with a tangled phone charger while 4-year-old Kayla played with chalk nearby. 2-year-old Derek slept in a stroller beside her. Need some help? I'd asked, and she'd looked up with those eyes that seemed to see straight through my usual defenses. My ex was supposed to pick them up an hour ago, she'd said, checking her phone for the 15th time. Typical. I sat down beside her. Want to talk about it? We talked until the streetlights came on. She told me about Donnell, the kid's father, how he'd bounced between jobs and women, how he'd left when she refused to stop nagging about child support. How she worked double shifts at County General as a nurse to keep the lights on. I told her about growing up without my own father, how I'd sworn I'd never be that kind of man. 3 months later, I moved into her apartment on Jefferson Avenue. The kids took to me immediately. Kayla called me Mr. Jacob at first, then just Jacob, and finally, after I spent all night in the ER with her when she broke her arm falling off the monkey bars, she whispered Daddy Jacob and my heart was gone. I proposed a year later. Small ceremony at City Hall, just us and the kids. I adopted them legally that same month. The paperwork cost $2,400 I'd saved from my IT job at Henderson Corporation. Best money I ever spent. Or so I thought. The fights started 6 months ago, small at first. Emily complaining I was too strict when I enforced homework time. Accusing me of trying to replace Donnell when I took Derek to his first baseball game. They need structure, I'd say, keeping my voice level. They need their mother to not undermine me in front of them. She'd roll her eyes, go back to scrolling her phone. I noticed she was texting more, staying late at work 3 nights a week. The smell of cologne that wasn't mine on her scrubs. I'm not stupid, but I loved her. Loved our family. So I ignored the signs like a fool. Then last Tuesday, I came home early from work. Needed to grab my laptop charger. I heard laughing from the bedroom, Emily's laugh, and a man's voice I didn't recognize. My heart hammered as I stood outside our bedroom door. Baby, you need to tell him soon, the man said. We've been sneaking around for 4 months. 4 months. I turned around, walked back out of that apartment, and went to my brother Darius's place across town. Sat in his garage for 3 hours, staring at oil stains on concrete, trying to breathe. What you gonna do? Darius asked, handing me a beer I didn't drink. I don't know, I admitted. But I can't keep pretending. I went home that night, said nothing. Started watching, documenting. Screenshots of late-night texts. Credit card statements showing hotel charges. I wasn't ready to blow up our lives. Not yet. I needed proof. I needed to protect myself. Because somewhere deep down, I knew this was heading somewhere dark. Friday evening, I picked up Kayla from her friend Madison's house. She was quiet in the car, unusual for her. "You okay, sweet pea?" I asked, glancing at her in the rearview mirror. She twisted her backpack straps. "Daddy Jacob, why does Mommy's friend come over when you're at work?" My blood ran cold. I pulled into a gas station parking lot, turned to face her. "What friend, baby?" "The tall man. He brings Mommy flowers sometimes. She tells us to go play in our room." Her voice got smaller. "Are you and Mommy getting divorced like Madison's parents?" I wanted to scream. Wanted to punch my steering wheel. Instead, I took a deep breath, the smell of gasoline and old coffee filling my nostrils. "We're going to be okay," I lied. "No matter what happens, I love you and Derek. That won't change." She nodded, but I could see she didn't believe me. Kids always know. That night, after the kids were asleep, I confronted Emily in our bedroom. Showed her the evidence I'd collected. The texts. The receipts. Kayla's innocent testimony. She didn't deny it. Didn't even look ashamed. "His name is Tell," she said, sitting on our bed like we were discussing the weather. "He works at the hospital." We connected. Connected. I felt my jaw clench. You connected. With our daughter watching him come and go. She shrugged. I told them to stay in their rooms. And honestly, Jacob, maybe this is for the best. You've been smothering them anyway. Smothering them. My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. The walls of our bedroom seemed to close in. Making sure they do homework is smothering? Going to parent-teacher conferences? Coaching Derek's t-ball team? Emily stood up, her face hardening. "You're not their father, Jacob. You need to accept that. I'm the only father they know. Where's Donnell? Where's he been for 3 years? Don't bring Donnell into this." "Why? Because he's just like Tell? Another man you'll use until you're bored." Her hand connected with my face before I saw it coming. The slap echoed in the quiet room, my cheek burning. We stood there, both breathing hard, the line officially crossed. "Get out," I said quietly. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Get out. This is my apartment. Jacob. My name on the lease. You get out. I pay the rent. Every month. $1,500. Oh, here we go. Mr. Provider. Mr. Perfect Stepfather." She grabbed a pillow, threw it at me. "You think money makes you their daddy?" That's when I heard it. Small footsteps in the hallway. Both kids standing there, Derek crying, Kayla holding his hand with tears streaming down her face. "Why are you fighting?" Kayla asked, her voice breaking. Emily pointed at me. "Because Jacob needs to stop acting like," that's when she said it. The words that would change everything. "Stop acting like their real father. You're just the wallet." The room went silent except for Derek sobbing. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I lay on the couch in our living room, staring at the ceiling fan, listening to it squeak with each rotation. At 3 a.m., I made my decision. When dawn broke, I started packing. Clothes first, then important documents. Birth certificates, social security cards, including the kids. My laptop, photos, the baseball glove I'd bought Derek. Emily emerged from the bedroom around 7, looking shocked. "What are you doing?" "Leaving." I kept folding clothes, precise movements to keep my hands from shaking. "You can't just leave. What about the kids?" I stopped, looked at her directly. "What about them, Emily? I'm just the wallet, remember? Just some man playing house." "Jacob, I didn't mean." "Yes, you did." I zipped my suitcase. "You meant every word. And you said it in front of them. In front of Kayla and Derek." The kids appeared then, still in pajamas. Kayla ran to me, wrapped her arms around my waist. "Daddy Jacob, where are you going?" This This was the hardest part. I knelt down, eye level with both of them. Derek's bottom lip trembled. Kayla's eyes were red from crying all night. I have to go away for a while, I said, my voice cracking. But I love you both so much. Don't go. Derek wailed. We'll be good. We promise. Emily yanked Kayla back. That's enough. Say goodbye to Jacob. Not Daddy Jacob. Just Jacob. The message was clear. I grabbed my bags, walked out of that apartment on Jefferson Avenue, and didn't look back. I stayed with Darius for 2 weeks. Slept on his couch in his basement, went to work like a zombie, came back and stared at walls. My phone blew up at first, texts from Emily demanding I come back and talk like adults. Then angry messages about bills. The rent was due. Utilities needed paying. You can't just abandon your responsibilities, one text read. I blocked her number. Changed my phone. Got a new apartment across town, a studio on Parkview Drive for $900 a month. Bare walls, creaky floors, but it was mine. No memories bleeding from every corner. At work, I told my boss, Sergio, I needed to adjust my direct deposit. Everything okay, Jacob? He asked, concern in his voice. Just going through some changes, I said. Didn't elaborate. 3 weeks in, Emily found my work email. The kids keep asking for you. Kayla cried herself to sleep again. You're being selfish. I wanted to respond. Wanted to ask if Tell was helping with bedtime stories, with homework, with the nightmares Derek had about monsters under his bed. But I didn't. Instead, I contacted a lawyer, Diane Sterling, recommended by Darius. 50-year-old black woman with silver locks and no-nonsense attitude. Tell me everything, she said in her office on Market Street, recorder between us. I did. All of it. When I finished, she leaned back. The adoption is legal. You have parental rights, but so does she. And the biological father. Donnell hasn't been around in years. Doesn't matter. Legally, he still has rights unless terminated. My stomach dropped. What are my options? You can file for divorce and custody, Diane said, shuffling papers on her mahogany desk. But it'll be expensive. We're looking at $15,000 minimum, could go to $30,000 if she fights hard. I didn't have $15,000. I had $800 in savings and a broken heart. What if I just walk away? The words tasted like ash. Diane's expression softened. Jacob, I'll be real with you. Family court tends to favor biological parents. The fact that she's their mother and you abandon them, her words will be used against you, it won't look good. I didn't abandon them. She told me I wasn't their father. I know. But that's your word against hers. No recording, no witnesses except traumatized children. She paused. There's another factor. If you walk away completely, stop paying support, stop all contact, Child Protective Services might get involved. Why? Because if she can't afford the apartment without your income, if she's working those double shifts and leaving kids alone. She let it hang there. I went home that night, the weight of impossible choices crushing me. My phone, the new one, rang. Unknown number. I answered. Jacob. A woman's voice I didn't recognize. This is Lorraine Baptiste, Kayla's teacher. I hope you don't mind, I got your number from the emergency contact list. My heart raced. Is Kayla okay? Physically, yes. But Jacob, she's been acting out. Refusing to do work, picking fights. Today she told another student that her daddy left because she was bad. I closed my eyes, pain radiating through my chest. Ms. Baptiste, the situation is complicated. I'm sure it is. But that little girl needs stability. Whatever's happening between you and her mother, please don't forget about Kayla and Derek. I hung up with Ms. Baptiste and immediately called Darius. I can't do this, I said, my voice breaking. I can't just abandon them, but I can't go back. So what you gonna do? He asked. Because you sitting in the middle helping nobody, least of all yourself." He was right. I was paralyzed, stuck between loving kids who weren't biologically mine and protecting myself from a woman who'd made it clear I was disposable. 2 days later, my new phone rang again. This time it was Emily. Somehow got my number. "Jacob, we need to talk. The landlord is threatening eviction. Rent is 2 months overdue." "That's not my problem anymore," I said, hating how cold I sounded. "You made it clear I'm not family. Stop being petty. Think about Kayla and Derek. They need a roof over their heads. Then maybe Tell can help. Or contact Donnell. He's their real father, right?" Silence. Then her voice dropped. "Dangerous. You want to play it like that? Fine. I'll tell everyone you abandoned us. I'll make sure those kids forget you ever existed." She hung up. I sat in my studio apartment, walls bare except for one photo I couldn't bring myself to pack away, all 4 of us at Six Flags last summer, cotton candy sticky smiles and sun-bright happiness. What was I doing? The next week, I drove past our old apartment. Couldn't help myself. I parked across the street, watched the building. Saw Emily leave around noon, Tell's Silver Infinity pulling up 5 minutes later. He stayed for 3 hours while the kids were presumably at school. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles hurt. 6 weeks after I left, I got a call from an unknown number while at work, debugging code at my desk at Henderson Corporation, Mr. Jacob Holmes. A professional woman's voice. "This is Angela Morrison. I'm with Child Protective Services. We need to schedule a meeting regarding Kayla and Derek Palmer." My blood turned to ice. What happened? Are they okay? "They're physically unharmed, but we've received reports of concerning conditions. I'd rather discuss this in person. Can you come to our office on State Street tomorrow at 2? I took emergency leave, spent the night pacing my apartment. What had Emily done? The next day, I sat across from Angela Morrison, a tired-looking black woman in her 40s with kind eyes that had seen too much. "Mr. Holmes, we received reports from the children's school. Multiple instances of them coming in hungry, wearing the same clothes for days. Kayla told her teacher her mother leaves them alone at night." "What?" "Last Thursday, a neighbor called police around midnight. The children were home alone, crying. Ms. Palmer didn't return until 3 a.m. She claimed she had an emergency at work, but we verified she wasn't scheduled that night." I felt sick. Where was she? "We don't know. She's been evasive. Mr. Holmes, I've reviewed the case file. You're listed as adoptive father. Why did you leave?" I told her everything. The affair, the fight, what Emily said. Angela nodded, making notes. "I understand. But from a legal standpoint, you're still their parent. Walking away doesn't terminate your rights or responsibilities." "What happens now?" "We've placed the children in temporary foster care." "Foster care?" I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. "You took them away from both of us." Angela remained calm. "Mr. Holmes, sit down. Please." I sat, hands trembling. The fluorescent lights in her office buzzed overhead, making my head pound. "The children are with the Johnsons, experienced foster parents. They're safe, fed, going to school. This is temporary while we investigate." "Can I see them?" "Not right now. We need to complete our assessment." "But Jacob," she leaned forward, her voice gentler. "These kids talk about you constantly. Daddy Jacob this, Daddy Jacob that. Whatever happened between you and Ms. Palmer, they consider you their father." Tears burned my eyes. She told me I wasn't. In front of them. "I know. I've read the reports. But here's the reality. Ms. Palmer is facing neglect charges. The apartment's been condemned. Turned out she stopped paying rent entirely after you left. There's evidence of drug paraphernalia found in the home." "Drugs?" "Emily doesn't. Tell Simmons has a record. Possession with intent. We believe he was operating out of the apartment." My world tilted. Everything I'd built, everything I'd tried to protect, had crumbled into something unrecognizable. What do I do? You have options. You can file for custody. Given the circumstances, the adoption, your clean record, you'd have a strong case. But Jacob, you need to decide if you're all in. These kids have been abandoned by their biological father. Now they're losing their mother. They can't lose you too. I left that office in a daze. Drove to Darius's shop, found him under a Chevy. They're in foster care, I told him. He rolled out, oil-stained hands wiping on a rag. Who? Kayla and Derek. CPS took them. Darius helped me scrape together the retainer for Diane Sterling. Called in Favors, took out a small loan against his shop. Those kids need you, he said, counting out cash. And you need them. Stop running. The custody battle was brutal. Emily showed up to court looking devastated, playing the victim. Her lawyer, some slick guy named Brandon Matthews in a too expensive suit, painted me as the abandoner. Mr. Holmes left these children without warning, Your Honor. Cut off all financial support, leaving Ms. Palmer destitute. Diane stood. Your Honor, Mr. Holmes left after discovering Ms. Palmer's affair and being told, and I quote, "Stop acting like their real father, you're just the wallet." He's the only stable parent these children have known. The judge, Honorable Shirley Henderson, a stern woman with grey hair and sharp eyes, reviewed documents. Ms. Palmer, can you explain the drug paraphernalia found in your home? That was Tells, Your Honor. I didn't know. You didn't know your boyfriend was dealing drugs in an apartment with 2 children. Emily broke down crying. Real tears or performance, I couldn't tell anymore. I made mistakes. But they are my children. Biologically, yes. But Mr. Holmes legally adopted them. The question is who can provide stability. It took 3 months. 3 months of hearings, home inspections, supervised visits with Kayla and Derek at the CPS office on State Street. Those visits destroyed me. Kayla would cling to me, begging to come home. Derek, quieter now, would just hold my hand and ask, "Are you leaving again?" "Never," I promised. "I'm fighting to bring you home." Finally, Judge Henderson made her ruling. Sole custody to Jacob Holmes. Ms. Palmer will have supervised visitation pending completion of parenting classes and drug testing. I picked up Kayla and Derek from the Johnsons' house on a Tuesday afternoon in October. The trees on Elm Street were brilliant orange and red, and the air smelled like wood smoke and possibility. Mrs. Johnson, a kind woman in her 60s, handed me their bags. "They're good kids, Mr. Holmes. You're doing right by them." "Thank you for taking care of them," I said, meaning it. Kayla and Derek ran to my car, the same used Honda Civic I'd driven them in 1,000 times before. Everything felt familiar and new at once. Our new apartment on Riverside Drive was bigger, 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen. I'd spent weeks preparing, buying new beds, picking out comforters with Kayla's favorite purple and Derek's dinosaurs. "Is this really ours, Daddy Jacob?" Kayla asked, running through the living room. That word. Daddy Jacob. It felt like coming home. Really ours, sweet pea. That first night, I made spaghetti, Derek's favorite. We ate at our small dining table, and I watched them laugh over silly jokes, watched color return to their faces. Before bed, I tucked them both in. Kayla grabbed my hand. "Are you going to leave again?" "Never. I promise. We're family, and family doesn't give up on each other." She nodded, satisfied. "In Derek's room," he asked, "what about Mommy?" "You'll see Mommy sometimes. When she gets better. But I'll always be here." 6 months later, we're finding our rhythm. Kayla's back to being on a roll. Derek's playing baseball again, number 7 on the Riverside Raiders. I coach weekend games, teach them homework every night, and tuck them in with stories. Emily visits twice a month, supervised. She's in treatment, working toward unsupervised visits. Tells in jail. Donnell? Still gone. Still doesn't call. The other day, Kayla made a family tree project for school. At the top, she wrote my family and drew 3 stick figures, her, Derek, and me. Just us. Teacher said we could only draw people who live with us, she explained. That's perfect, baby, I told her, hanging it on our refrigerator with pride. Thanks for watching. Comment real fathers show up if you can't stand people like Emily who weaponize children. And if you think Jacob deserved better from the start, smash that like button, because manipulators and users like Emily need to know we see through their games. This is our family now. Imperfect, healing, but ours. And that's enough. The story you just heard is a reminder that being a parent isn't about DNA. It's about showing up, even when it costs you everything.